Hello, guys, and welcome to Stretch Street Podcast. This is the energetic EJ, and I'm super delighted to be here again with you this week. I hope your Friday is going well, and I hope you're ready for the weekend. Okay, my guest today is Toks Olunloyo. Everybody knows her as Coach Toks. She is a food business mentor and coach, and she helps people monetize their cooking from home. And I mean, I'm like, what kind of niche is this? We're going to hear all about it, but most importantly, as you already know how we do it on Stretch Street, we're going to be diving into some of her stretch story at challenging times on her journey to being this person that she is today, and most importantly, the lessons that she has picked up from those stretch seasons. All right, so you know how it is. Sit back, relax as we get to meet my guest.
No matter how dark the night is, the sun always rises. No matter how hard life gets, keep moving forward. You never know what amazing things are waiting just around the corner. No story is too rough and no journey is too tough. Join us on Stretch Street to be inspired by the stories of people who have been through it all and come out stronger. Stretch Street Podcast. Stretching without snapping.
Hello, Coach Tokes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very, very well. Energetic EJ. Love it, love it, love it. It's a pleasure. Honestly, an absolute pleasure to be here to be speaking to millions and thousands and billions of people all over the world. Because that's where we're going. We're global.
We
We're global.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I tap it, because sometimes we just speak and words,
Hmm.
as you know, forms our world and words
Absolutely.
are life. So thank you for speaking that positivity into this show. I receive it and I'm working towards it to bring it into manifestation. Thank you
Yes.
so much. So, Coach Talks, let us meet you. First of all, four trivia questions before we get into the meat of the matter.
Mhm.
What's your name and where are you from? We already know your name, but just tell us again so that you can pronounce it properly. And then, where are you from?
Okay. So my name is Omowunmi Olunloyo. So those are my names.
Wait,
Trust me, I have lots of names. In fact,
wait, wait.
I have an acronym SO4.
Uh-uh. Okay.
I'm telling
Oh,
you.
four.
So
That
that
means all
stands
your
for
names are
all
O.
my names exactly. So my Sandra is my baptismal name. And then I have Omowunmi Omolara Olunloyo.
Wow.
So that's
SO4
SO4.
indeed.
So I have people call me SO4. Those who know me way back will call me SO4. Some will call me O3. Because then without my baptismal name and without Omolara in there, but typically a lot of people here in the UK where I'm currently based will call me Toks. If you call me Omomi, I know you know me way
Way
back,
back. I
way back,
know.
way back. But in the UK here, I'm often addressed as Toks.
Looks awesome.
Yes.
Wait, are you related to the Olu lawyer we all know?
Everyone says that. My husband says a big no. Not the Dr. Lawyer that we know came in, not the one in the what's it called, government position. No, we're not. Apparently, Lawyer is a massive family, so it's just one
Yeah.
of the stop, but not directly related to any of them.
Okay, fantastic. Anyways, awesome to know that. What do you do?
So you see, that is a very interesting question because you know how when you go for networking event or you're meeting people and they're like, "What you do?" The typical response is, "I am and then you go. But interestingly, I don't do that because I am not I am one of those crazy people. I love to describe myself this way. I'm one of those crazy people. And I call myself crazy because I'm out of the box. I'm not your typical everyday woman. I am a busy working mom. Um, I am a food business mentor. I am a model. I'm an international best-selling author. I am The list goes on, sis. And I am just that one person that seems to be able to do everything by the grace of God. I need to add that because I have found that everything that my hand finds to do, I do. And I don't do mediocrity job. How do they say it? I don't do like,
Half
let's just do a
baked.
little bit there. I do a good job. I do a good job and I'm blessed like that. We'll talk about my journey later, but I'm one of those people. I think there's a name for it because someone told me the other day I'm a multi-polite or something like
Multi-potentialite.
that. See,
Yes.
I didn't even bother to
Yes.
because I thought, you know
Or
what, let's just
multi-influential.
okay, thank you very much. That's it then. That's what someone said. So that's what you should actually call yourself because I see that in you. I have done so many things, energetic EJ. It's
Okay.
unbelievable in terms of what I have done and what I have learned in terms of my craft. I'm into movie production as well. So I did do a major movie production that made it into limelight. Yes, in Nigeria, I had the premiere in Nigeria and also here in the UK as well. Hustle, featuring the likes of Nancy Sime, 𝗵𝗵𝗇𝗏, 𝗵𝗵𝗇𝗏, Ademoye, and I could go on. 𝗁𝗵𝗁 branch. Don't let me. So I'm doing skits right now with the likes of 𝗵𝗵𝗏𝗺. So when I say I'm doing, yes, I know I'm working. I have another movie already done already right now that I'm working on. We're in post production right now, and we're looking to do another one. So when I say I'm into everything, I'm not actually bragging. I'm actually. And did I say to you that I have a food business as well that I run? I make cereals from home that I sell to farm shops as well, and from my website called 𝗵𝗃𝗃 Cereals. So, and I have a 9 to 5 job, but not your regular 9 to 5 job. I am how do you call me now? A contractor. So I go into companies, help them, and I go. So right now, I've just finished a contract, so I'm home right now resting, and I'm hoping to start again in March. And I have a 2-year-old. Can I add to the list as well? Amongst my other children, I have 3 children. My youngest is 2. So that is the kind of person you're talking with. So how do you want me to describe myself? You say, who are you? I'm writing 5 books at the moment as well. Can I add that to the list right now?
No. Bust my brain. No. Bust my brain. No. Bust my brain. What? But you know
So
why I'm so excited?
why?
Because, because, because this is more like, okay, I am not alone. She is here with me. Do you know that this has been a huge struggle? And I mean,
Mm,
I've been working my way to it. Thank God for
mm,
coaches like DDK. DDK was the
mm,
first coach that I
mm.
worked with that made
Yes.
me embrace the idea that I
Mm,
don't have to be one thing.
yes.
And you know, in mainstream, niche,
Yes.
niche, niche is a
That's
thing that we hear
correct.
all the time. And sometimes
Absolutely.
it can be crippling, it can be stifling. And I also
Mm,
understand the fact that we don't have to do everything at the same time.
that's
But
correct.
I really think that some of us are graced to do many things at the same time. More like we have the octopus anointing.
You can say that again. I never
Or
heard that
more
before, but I do
puts,
like that.
more
Octopus
puts, the
anointing.
Deborah anointing. Deborah
Yes.
was a wife, she was a mother, she was a prophet, she was a
Yes.
judge.
George. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like
Yes.
honestly, I am like, what did they say? Like my head is doing zhim.
It's expanding and contracting. Yes. So
Like
that is who I am.
goosebump.
Yes,
Wow.
I'm grateful to God, and I do MC as well. I don't know if I added that to you because I did an MC
Wow. Okay, it's
40th
okay, it's
birthday
okay.
on
Okay, now
Sunday.
it's looking like this is becoming a brag. Please, please, please stop bragging. Please, 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 please stop oppressing me. I don't like it. I don't like it.
To God be the glory. What can I
To God
say?
indeed be the glory.
Yes,
And the sweetest part for me is when you say, I am good at everything.
yes,
That I'm good at it, right? Of course, I know we're going to get into that story of, okay,
yes,
it's not like you started doing everything at the same time. You probably
yes,
started one after the other, but now you can juggle all together, right?
yes,
So we'll get into
yes.
that story. But before we go, the next trivia question is, what is your philosophy about life?
Live well. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Eat well, live well, and enjoy every day.
Hmm. Hmm.
all
Nice.
will
I
be
love it. I
well.
love the simplicity
Yeah,
of it.
very simple. Yes.
Eat
If
well,
you eat
live well, and
well,
enjoy
yes,
every
because
day.
I need this body to do a lot of things.
Mm,
So it's important that I eat well. And living well is different for everyone what that means to them. But
true.
ultimately for me, I need to live well. Live well, enjoy everything I'm doing. And so that enjoying everyday bit there, I cannot do anything that does not put a smile on my face, doesn't bring out the joy from the inside of me. There is no point, be it a 9 to 5, be it speaking, be it coaching. I don't want to take your money. No, thank you. Bye. See you later, Charlie. I need to enjoy every day. I believe that every day on the land of the living is a gift that has been presented to me by God. So why would
Mm,
I? It would be a disservice to now go around frowning. No, I'm very intentional. So eat well, live well, enjoy every day.
I love it. I love it. Finally, tell us one fun thing about you because your resume alone is fun. But tell us one fun thing that most people don't know about you.
Ah, I don't know if most people don't know, but I'm called the king of boys. I have 3 boys.
Okay, now were you called this before the sequel came out? Before the movie came out, King of Boys.
um, I think it was after. It
Okay.
was after. It was after. It was
You're like,
after it
oh,
came out. Yes. They call me
nice.
Mama Boys. Yes. But yeah, when the King of Boys came out, yeah, so I'm often addressed as the King of Boys.
Oh wow. Wow. Well done. Well done with
Thank you.
everything you've done so far. And in
Thank you.
fact, because you've done a lot and you're still doing a lot, I
Mm,
am sure that there is a story to unpack here. So let us
yes.
take it back.
Mm,
Now, it's going to be a bit like, okay, where do we pick this story from? Is it from the
mm,
angle of a producer, or from the angle of a
mm,
cook, or from the angle
mm,
of a mom, or from the angle of a
mm,
wife, or all of those things? But let's
mm.
just say, as a person,
Yes.
what are some of the hardest challenges that you've had on your journey to being this woman with so many hats, enough to start a boutique? Like all your hats. If we put them
Um,
on display, it's enough to start a boutique. Tell us, what is your stretch story?
so thank you for asking, energetic EJ. So my stretch story goes like this. I will summarize it and then I'll give you the full story. I did not love myself. I did not accept myself. I did not think I was beautiful. I did not think I have a voice. And I was in low self esteem for the longest part of my life. That is a short story or the summary.
Hmm.
So a lot of times you look at me now, it doesn't match. And I'm grateful to God that I don't look like what I have been through. I know
Hmm.
people who have called me to verify that it's actually me because they can't believe it's the same person.
Wow.
I always say to people when I go speaking and I'm empowering women, I'm like, I am that one person that people came to my wedding to verify that I was actually getting married because no one thought I would ever get married. And can I say I'm
Wow.
going on 18 years right now, this year by the grace of God.
Whoa. Awesome.
Um, so that is the summary. Now to
Hmm.
go way back so that we can go forward. I was born in the UK and my parents moved back to Nigeria. Obviously, in those days, in the 70s, life was very good and moving between countries was very, very easy. And
Easy.
so they decided to go back to Nigeria. So I grew up for my younger years, at least my formative years in Nigeria. I think by the time I finished secondary school, that is when I began to realize that I was different from everyone. But I did not understand what that means. So I was called names. I was very tall. As a 10-year-old, I started secondary school 10. As a 10-year-old in secondary, I was the tallest in my class, the longest in my class. So they call you, I'm trying to dongoyaro, longer. So I have all
Hmm.
kinds of names. So I was called all kinds of things. I was teen. You can imagine, I'm a young girl, I'm 10. And the youngest in my class, but the tallest in my class. So from there, my voice began to shrink. I was a lively person,
Hmm.
as you can imagine. Most child are normally lively. You have the average
Hmm.
child who is quiet, but I was a lively child. I wouldn't say I was altogether like this, as you're saying now, because right now I think I'm totally the
A lot
opposite of
of
who I was growing up. Yes. But I was a lively child, but all of a sudden I began to withdraw,
Shrink.
and it was more of fitting into the crowd. Now that's the word I want to use. More of people pleasing, because I just needed their acceptance and their love. I didn't understand why they didn't like me. I didn't understand why they were calling me names. And in that bid to get loved and accepted, I did everything and anything. I'm not even going to go and start describing the horrible things I have done in terms of people pleasing, but I did everything you can imagine. If you can think of anything that is not nice, I've been there. I've worn the t-shirt. I did everything throughout my secondary school. That was all my experience in terms of people pleasing. So that's what I did, literally. And then by the time I finished secondary school, there's a moment, there is a moment I want to share. I don't want to forget secondary school. I eventually left a day secondary school to a boarding secondary school because I told my parents I wanted to experience boarding school, and by the grace of God, they allowed me. So I did from SS2. For those who are in Nigeria, you know what I mean. So it's kind of like maybe year 11, 12 here in the UK, and for other parts of the world, it was anyway towards the end of the secondary school year.
Yeah.
I had to experience 2 years, and in that 2 years, it became very evident that I was not accepted.
Hmm.
And there I did a lot of things, and I can list examples now, because some people might probably watch this and remember. I was known to be beating up boys. I literally was beating up boys. I know it doesn't sound pretty, but that was my major. So if it just any nonsense, it's just beating, because I was very angry. I was very bitter. And so that's it, because I didn't understand why you didn't like me, why you didn't want to get along with me. So I was just beating people up and down. Beating people. In fact, I remember beating another classmate of mine. I arrest her so now because she's late. The moment I heard she was late, I started crying that, oh my gosh, and I beat that girl. That's me repenting now. But
Wow.
yeah, so the other moment I want to share again from secondary school in terms of my boarding secondary school was there was an event that happened that, if you're like me, I don't know if you went to a boarding school where people sneak out of the compound to go for events. Because of how much I was not liked, I was not invited to this jumping out event. So everyone went but me. And why I want to share that is because someone died on that trip.
Oh, wow.
And I was the only one they said did not go for that event. And I think it's important to notice that. I'm saying this to say that sometimes being different is not actually weird. But at that point in time, I did not. And the person that died in the exam hall sits in front of me. His number,
Wow.
when you're doing number, he sits literally in front of me, the guy that died. So that is bad about secondary school. So I left secondary school. I didn't get an altogether grades that I would like for so many reasons that I have just shared right now. And so I was wondering what I was going to do. So I went to do I'm trying to remember 𝗺𝗃 again. It's not 𝗺𝗃. There was something else you had to do. I did another exam that is kind of like
GC.
similar. Yes, that's it. Thank you, sis. Yeah. So I did GCE again. Interestingly, I got exactly the same result. It mirrored itself in the same result. So my GCE and my SSE mirrored themselves in the same way. And so it was now a case of, okay, what course can I study with the result you have right now? I had my maths. My English wasn't very good. Can I say that again? My English wasn't very good. I can tell you I had a 7 in English. You probably don't believe me. That is what I had. And that's what I wanted to get. So that was really the result I was looking for. I wanted to improve my English at least to a 6 or to a 5. My maths was 4, home economics was 3, physics was 3, chemistry was 6, biology was 5. So every other thing was fine. It was the English I was looking for. And I didn't. I got a 7 in my 𝗺𝗃, and also in my GCSEs, I got a 7 again for both of them, which was weird. But you know what? God does the weirdest thing. But to think that I'm writing books now, speaking, and people, and if anyway, let me don't jump, but that's what happened. So, okay, what course can you do? I said, well, I love calculation, and I did well in maths, I did well in physics. I said, okay, let me go for a course that is in that line. So I decided to choose electrical electronics. Applied, I got applied, no cheating or anything with my result. It was okay to go for it. I entered into the school. The drama continued. This is Federal Polytechnic 𝗏𝗏. Now I've got to the place right now. I know people don't like me. So it was just a case of just putting myself into any way and forcing my way through. That was the strategy now. So go in there and go and dominate. Anybody that don't talk, just with them. That was my strategy of getting in there. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like me. Of coping, yeah, I don't care whether you like me or not. I have accepted the fact that I'm not pretty, I'm ugly, you don't like me, I am tall, and tall is not good for whatever reason it was in my era. That was it. So that was what I was doing. So I did everything to stand out, to shine by force, whether you like it or not. So who wants to be class captain? I raised up my hand. So I was the class captain for the class in electrical electronics. And towards the end of the first semester, there was a reshuffling whereby they said they needed to look at what you studied to verify that you're in the right class. And when they did that, they said I was in the wrong class because I didn't have economics. I didn't do economics. So I was chopped out of the class and given two options: food technology or computer technology. And I thought then, I'm not doing computer technology. My dad, who works in 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃 at that time, we're talking 1996, yes, 1996, said, do food technology. You have options working in the food industry. So that's how my dad steered me into food tech. So it was never my first choice. It was never my second choice. It was never my third choice. It was circumstance that brought me to this place.
Into
and it was a
this
decision
space.
that my dad helped me because of where he was working at. I work in the food industry. I work in 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃, which is West African Milk Company. They're called 𝗵𝗃𝗀𝗃 now. He said you get good options. And when you need industrial attachment, we can see what we can
We
do
can
to
help you.
help you
Yeah.
in the food industry because I have connections. And I thought, okay, good. And so that's how I landed in the food industry, just to build my story up. So still in this stage, I'm still a very fragile person, and doing the best I can. So I'm going to go forward, fast forward now, and I left the ND. There was riot, for those who remember Kwara State. This was when June 12 election was, and the shooting and everything. So I had to leave school, finish the ND and don't go back again. And I did my HND in 𝗃𝗃𝗃. The interesting thing about 𝗃𝗃𝗃 was I continued being violent and very angry. It did
It
not
is you
stop.
now. It was you. You carry it
I did not
everywhere.
I did not change my color, and I dressed anyhow. I just wore clothes. It wasn't really about looking good or feeling good because I was like, what's the point? I'm not impressing anybody. I'm just going out. But the interesting thing at that point in time is that I eventually found someone in church who said he liked me. And that put a smile on my face, and it began to soften me a little bit. But a little bit did not mean I did not fight or shout or do all those other things that I was not supposed to do as a woman or even as a child of God that I profess I was. So I tried to be in between and serve God with all of my heart diligently and have a focus for my life. But because I did not know who I was, and I was still very angry that people did not accept me for who I was, it showed, it manifested from time to time. And that's the way I would say it. Now, follow me now. I have low self-esteem. I don't think I'm good enough. I have a boyfriend. In my mind, I'm thinking this is marriage. Since I found somebody else, hold him tightly, guard him jealously. Nothing is going to happen. I found heaven.
Don't let him go.
Don't let him go. This is. And I also need to know that as at that time, for some reason, everyone did not agree with that relationship. But I was like, you guys don't even know where I'm coming from. Don't even let's go there. This is heaven. I'm staying here. So I continued on. And then one day he woke up. I'm going somewhere with the story. And he woke up one morning and said he's no longer interested. This is after 2.5 years. Just woke up. It's not like there was a fight or argument. Nothing. I saw you yesterday. This morning he said, no, I don't want to see you again. And that was when reality hit me.
Wow.
And I went back to rock bottom again. But can I say in that mess is where I found my husband that I have been in the same school with? Because that very day, I remember what he said to me. He said, I know you because of the kind of person I am, but there's something is wrong. He said, this is not you. Something is wrong. What happened? And then I narrated the story. And in his own words, which I say every time and I giggle every time I remember what he said, because I can remember I'm that kind of photographic memory person. That's why I always say, don't offend me because I will remember.
You're not in the class of forgive and forget.
Yes, so I remember. Oh my gosh. But anyway, he said to me, he said, where is that guy? Let me go and break his head. My husband is a typical mushy man. I know he doesn't look like it, but he's mushy inside and out. He's a posh mushy guy. He said, let me go and break his head. And then I laughed. I said, that's better. And then for the very first time, I thought someone genuinely cared about how I felt. That someone was going to defend my corner.
He actually saw you.
He saw me. He said, it's not a case of 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. No, he said, let me go and break his. That's what his word. Let me go and break his head. And I looked up and I laughed. And I still laugh today every time I remember it. So that was when the journey came for me to now want to change my life because of him. Because I felt someone saw me. Not for the angry, bitter person, but he wanted to fight my corner. He wanted to make sure I was okay. I did not feel before that time that anyone genuinely was like that for me. apart from my
Wow.
parents or my sister. He was the first person that actually, for me, when they say I see you, I believe at that point in time that he saw me. And that is when my
Mm,
life changed. Don't get me wrong, there were lots of battle along the way because people were
of
like, "You're not
course.
marrying her." The two of you are from where? You are from Mushin, she's from Surulere. Where did the two of you meet? Where did you jam? It's not possible. You are just using her, she's using you, and all kinds of things. People were investigating me, watching my moves. And I forgot to include at in the conversation that at that point in time in my life, I was following boys all around. And when I say follow boys around, it wasn't about sleeping around with them. It
You
was
were
like
a
I was not.
tomboy. You were like a tomboy
Yeah, so I was hanging out with boys. So you'll find me with the boys rather with the girls.
with the
So as
girls,
far as
yeah.
everyone was concerned, I was sleeping with everybody in the whole world. And did I care?
Mm,
Yo, no. Say, even I think at some point in time, my dad actually felt that. So he thought I was living with everybody and anybody because every time he comes, he's always the person I saw yesterday. I say it's
was
my
different.
friend. Hey, I say my
Everybody is
friend.
your friend.
It's only you. Our friends, though. I was hanging out with the electronic guys. Oh my gosh.
Mm,
Yabatek, I'm sure if they catch this, they will know that I'm not making up stuff. I was always in the boys' hostel. Always in the boys' hostel. So this is what happened to my life. So when I met
mm,
my husband, then student in the same class, there were so many things about him that clicked. And I'm saying this to say this for those who don't believe that there is power in the words that you speak. There were some
mm.
things I have said in my formative years that if I was going to marry, if anyone decides that they are going to, that's why when I saw this first person that said he didn't fit it, but because he said I like to, I just agreed and we just
Just,
continued the journey. But I know what
mm,
I said. What I said was I wanted to marry someone who was my age mate. And what that came from the fact that my parents are age mates. And I liked their synergy. I liked what they built together. And I thought I liked that. I said it would be nice to marry someone that is my age mate. Eventually, when my husband asked me out and I got to know him more, we are the same month,
oh,
same year,
wow.
12 days.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow. That's
so
amazing.
that is so. Be careful what you say, please, guys. There is power in the words you
The
use. I said this as
words.
a 16-year-old. I remember because I was like, if ever marry, I would like to marry someone who is my age mate. I did not put a letter or define it, but this is too tight. This is too tight, too close. And then my parents accepted it, and that's what made me know that this is you are home now. So the one you were in
Mm,
before was was a facade, was just you people pleasing. This is where you're going. Now, remember I said that I was suffering from low self-esteem.
yeah.
He did his best to help me, and that's the word I will use. Even to pass my exams, to read and study, he invested in me. He did, hand on heart,
Mm,
he did. He'll say, "Let's go and read." I'm like, "I'm not reading. I will not cuckoo pass. So what's the point? Let's." He was like, "No, we are going to read. We're going to read. So let's go." He will book time there,
wow.
and he will stay there with me. My husband is the kind of person that he's not a scholar in terms of we spend 10 hours reading. I spend 10 hours reading. I know everyone learns differently, but I'm that person that will read till this exam or drop your paper. That's when I'll drop. He's not that. 15 minutes is done and he can pour down what he has read. So he didn't have
Mm,
to be in the room there with me, but he stood there because of me, because he
because
wanted to
of
make sure that
you.
I was getting what I was reading because I struggled. So
Mm,
my self-esteem was beginning to grow gradually, and I thought, finally, perhaps this was my thought. Once I marry the love of my life, who cares about me? That's it. All my problems will be gone, and I can enjoy the rest of my life. In fact, I said, and they lived happily ever after. That's what I
ever
always said.
after.
And they
Mm,
lived happily ever after. So that's the end of my struggles. But I was wrong. I relocated from Nigeria to the UK. And I remember when I was going, my dad was saying, "Do you want to marry?" I said, "No, I'm not marrying." He said, "Do you want to do intro?" I said, "No, I'm not doing." He said, "But you're going." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "Let me go to where I'm going to. Let's decide." Because I was just determined that I didn't want to make a mistake in marriage. I have seen and
mm,
heard so many dramas about marriage, and I was very intentional about the quality of life I wanted to live, even though I knew who I was. But I didn't want anybody that would do me anyhow or treat me anyhow. I didn't want to feel bad. I didn't want to a case of let's divorce. So I wanted to give us time apart for both of us to decide that yes, indeed, this is where we
you
wanted to
want
go.
to.
So eventually, when we agreed, he proposed and I accepted to my parents, and he told everyone. They were like, "It's not possible." So a lot of people came to my wedding to actually verify that we're getting married because it's not possible. He was using her, she was using him, and it's not possible. But yes, 18 years and counting, and we give God praise. So
Mm,
I'm saying this to say this: the people around you may not necessarily understand you. They may not actually see the potential in you. In fact, they may have labeled you and put a cap in terms of where you are. If you continue to believe that lies, and that's the way I would say it, because it's a lie. It's a lie. If you continue to believe that lie, you will continue to go down. There needs to be a light bulb moment for you at some point in your life. And it's different for everyone. I had my light bulb. My light bulb moment was when I went for a conference. And I came back from that conference. It was titled The Supernatural Woman. And that's when I realized that I don't have to be all these things that I have been trying to be. And that's the word, trying to be. It's actually okay to be me, whether ugly or not.
Whether
Accept my
accepted
nose
or
the
not.
way it was. Accept my ears the way it was. Accept my fault and my beauty. Everything. That is the total package.
Yeah.
And that is why I need God. Because when I rely on God, every other thing will be in the walk in the park. It was that event when I traveled. I went to Chicago. I went for that event. It was that conference that made me come back home and told my pastor, because I was serving everywhere, because I wanted to walk, because I needed to fit in, and because I could do stuff. I could do stuff. I just found out that I have a knack for learning things and doing. So it was always Toks, come and do this, Mommy, come and do this. And I would go because I can do it. And I ended up hurting myself severally, collapsing, falling down severally, and I would go to the hospital and they'll say, oh, there's nothing, you're just stressed. Go and relax, put your feet up. And that's the consistent story I was getting for years after I got married. Go and rest, because I was attending all the seminars in the whole world, attending all the training in the whole world,
Just
spending
because
money
you
that I did
wanted
not
to feel more like a better, like
have.
there's
Proof.
something, because
I wanted to
you're
prove.
proofing. Oh, wow.
So I spent money I didn't have, credit cards, and my husband will, bless him, shout, scream, how are you going to pay this? You're going to go and pay another £2,000 for training. You've gone to another training. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? I just wanted to be loved. I wanted to be
But
accepted.
do you regret going for all of those trainings now, or do you think they played a
No.
huge role in forming the woman that you are now, the person who has now absolutely or totally accepted herself for who she is, the good, the bad, the ugly? I just love me.
That's it. That's it. Because all those things now, right now, is a no-brainer for me to do some things now because of the money I've invested in myself. Then, even though I had the wrong motives, but they've all come very useful, because now I go back to my archive and I'm like, oh, when they say, oh, I want to do this, I think I have a training on that. There's no training you want, right? I've not bought. I'm like, I think I have a training on that. I think I
I
have a
mean,
course on that. I'm telling you, I was just a course warmonger
course
looking for training. I
junkie.
was, as in, oh, Jesus. If Jesus could come down, I'm sure he would slap me front, back, and left and say, what is your problem? No, I spent money I didn't have. So I did that. It's definitely without it. I wouldn't change anything, if I'm being honest, because I don't think I'll be the person I am right now. The way I love myself now, oh, Jesus is
It's
Lord. In fact,
non-negotiable. I can see it.
ah,
Like, you
ha,
can't tell me otherwise. You
ah.
cannot.
Before you tell me I'm pretty, I'm telling you that this girl is fine. As in, come on, look, go motto fine. As in, I'm
See,
picking
God
myself.
creates.
Oh, Jesus is Lord. I'm
But
so
you
in
know
love
what?
with myself.
As you share your story, the thing that is coming to my head is all things work together. All things
Mhm.
work together. All
Yes.
things work together. And
Yes.
and especially because you could have done other things, so you could have spent all of this money or other things
Mm.
that would destroy you.
Mm.
But rather, you spent the
Yes.
money on things that actually mold you into shape. That
Yes.
can only be God. Because
That's it.
really, again, you were doing all of these things for the wrong motive.
Yes.
But God was using it to mold you up into the person that you are today. And it's like, wow. Wow, wow,
Yes.
wow, wow, wow. Amazing,
Absolutely.
amazing.
Absolutely.
If you
So
were
it
going to
was.
highlight some lessons, I know you've mentioned
Mm.
here in the ways, and I love how you do it. I say this to say this. I love it. I love it. It shows you've gone to a lot of trainings. Yes, I see it. But if you were going to highlight, just say for people who are like, okay, what are some lessons? Some people like to
Mm.
itemize things, right?
Yes.
But I can
Yes.
already pick them as you were saying them. But if you were going to
Yes.
itemize them, give us top 3 lessons that your
Yes.
journey has
Mm-hmm.
taught you and that you can share with our world to say, guys, these are the lessons I've learned. I don't know, do with it what you want.
Okay, so my number one lesson is that I am enough. I am enough. Um, my nose, my eyes, my ears, my height, they're perfect. In fact, that is what I need for my destiny, for my life, for everything that I need to accomplish in life. I am enough.
Absolutely. Hmm.
I am
Hmm.
enough.
Hmm.
And I struggle with that a lot. I honestly, I could not understand. I just felt that I needed to add more. I need to fill in the gaps. I did not want to accept
Hmm.
weakness, but actually, it's part of the package. That is
True.
what makes me human, being human.
Hmm.
That I can make a mistake and say, actually, I messed up. That is
Hmm.
what makes me human. So I am enough. That is number one. And then number two is that I am lovable.
I
I
love
am
it.
lovable. Yes, I am lovable. I deserve to be loved. I am lovable. I'm a person that is full of love inside and out. In fact, because I accepted the love of God, it allowed me to love people. I believe right now that there's nothing anybody can do now that can move me anymore because I have been there, done that. I've been upset to the point that I felt that the inside of me was going to turn and churn and I was going to
Explode.
die. And yeah, so nothing anyone does for me right now, do me right or around me right now. In fact, I'm like, I am apologizing on their behalf. And people are looking like, but you are not the one that I said, I know, please forgive them. They did not know. It was a mistake. It was not intentional. I'm sure they could have, I'm fighting everybody's corner now. I'm pleading their cause and doing all of that now. Because no one did that to me. And I know how it feels like to be in that place that it feels like nobody sees you. I'm there, I'm in the crowd, but no
Hmm.
one sees me. But can I say now, there's no way I go now. Ha!
You cannot see
You
me, Ke. I know now.
Oh, thank you, devil. From my entrance. In fact, let me crack a joke now. My last contract that I just finished right now. When I was leaving the building, you know what I did? After I greeted everyone, I just said, Toks is leaving the building! And they'll shout, I'm leaving. Toks is
Drama
out!
queen.
As in, that's how I walked out of the building. In fact, they came to me, I was like, oh, you didn't hug me. Oh, sorry, I missed you. I'm just so full of life right now. I'm so full of. So that's number two, I'm lovable. And then number three is that I am here to make a difference. There is purpose in my
Hmm.
life, and I need to make sure that I give of everything that is inside of me, regardless of
Whew.
what anyone thinks or feels. Because this is my explanation. When God was giving me the assignment, I didn't have you on my left or my right. In fact, I didn't have you on my front or my back. It was me and God having that conversation. So if I decide I'm going to do 10,000 things, I'm doing it. And I
Hey,
really don't care what you think.
preach, sister. Preach.
I really don't care what you think.
Preach,
If you say
sister.
Toks, you are doing a
Preach.
great job, hallelujah. If you say Toks, you are doing a rubbish job, hallelujah. Moving on, next.
Next.
That's it. So that's it.
Ah,
That would be my that would be my top three. That would
that's
be
so
my top
good.
three. That
You
would be my
know,
top. Yeah.
guys, let me tell you the truth. This session was for me. I don't know if it will bless you, but I care about you. But
Mm,
today, allow me to be selfish. This
mm,
session was for me. So
mm.
thank you so much, Coach Tokes. I know we didn't scratch the surface with your story,
No, we
but
didn't.
I am glad I did not come from a point of, oh, what you do, tell us the story around. I love the fact that I said, just as a human, and I love,
Yes.
love, love the journey you took us on because I want to believe that this episode is going to liberate somebody out there. And like you said, you are here to make a
Yes.
difference. And I know
Yes.
I'm here as well to make a difference. But again, I think you are ahead of me in the game. And some things you said here today are liberating for me. I kid you not.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I
Good.
now I see why it took so long for this to happen. Yeah. Do you know how long we've been going back and forth?
I was
to
just like
record.
yesterday, let's do it. Let's do it 11 o'clock, and that's it, done.
Right now, I understand, and I think that you carry a grace
Oh,
of
thank you.
all things working together. Like you are, you are a you are a manifestation of that scripture that says all
Yes.
things work together. Because your
Yes.
story, I can't even begin to fathom it because
Mm,
somebody else, like other people, some it would have, yes, they would have probably hurt themselves deeper.
Yes.
right? I mean, like
Yes.
you said, you were always with boys. It could have gone
Oh,
wrong.
trust me.
It could have gone south.
Yes. Very,
But
very south,
then,
sis. Very, very south, sis. In fact, South you said now reminds me of when I went to Port Harcourt. I bet my parents will be watching this. I'm thinking, did you get to Port Harcourt? Oh, yes, I did. I followed the boys, student union. I followed the boys, went to do a Luther Continue Victory Asata, and they were shooting. I said, see, what you don't want to know all the things. Like I said, I probably need to write my life story down and write down
you
every
should,
because
a
I have
memoir. Yeah,
a
you should.
memoir. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
been through. Yes, and they were shooting. That's when this was from
Did you
my
carry a
offer
gun?
days. No, I didn't. I was following the what's it called? Student union people, following them all around and fighting for the rights of the students in Port
Wow.
Harcourt. Then we went for a reunion on the bus
Wow.
from
God
Kwara
really
State,
needs
and I'm
you.
supposed to be in school.
You are
Yeah.
you are really here for a purpose. That's why. No, no. But
Oh
I
yes.
love the journey that brought you here. And I I know you're a coach now, so you can speak a little bit to this as we round off the session,
Yes.
to the power
Mm.
of the mindset, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
a lot, I don't know that this data is correct, but because of how even I personally I've had
Mm.
to war and work, and I'm still working on some limiting mindset and programming
Mm.
that I grew
Yes.
up with, right? I
Yes.
know that a lot of the challenges, a lot of the problems that we have, especially from
Mm.
back home, Nigeria, are
Yes.
mindset related.
Yes.
And the scariest part, or the yeah, is the fact that a lot of people are not even aware. So they're
Mm.
busy dealing with something else when the
Mm.
root cause is something totally different. So just say
Absolutely.
a word to that, in the journey that you took to really re-engineering your mind. Because again, for you, you were in the UK, and even though
Yes.
probably because you didn't have your formative years there, so it didn't help to maybe solidify some, like, self-awareness and just, acceptance of self, and then, going
Yes.
back home and just all those rejection, and a lot of people are dealing with rejection. And like you
Yes.
said, for you, the way you could deal with it was to become a
Mm.
jaguda. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
will break bottle. I will would. You must know me. Is something, You had to
That's right.
just use that. But for
Yes.
some people, it could be something else. It could be going
Yes.
into drugs,
Yes.
maybe sleeping around just to feel
Yes.
accepted,
Yes.
all sorts of things. What
Yes.
would you say to that journey of re-engineering your mind? And if somebody is listening to this and something is pricking in them and saying, man, I
Mm.
think the way I'm living right now is a response
Mm.
to the way that I feel people are treating me, how can they start their journey to recovery?
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. That's a beautiful question. And the first thing I would say, in fact, that inspired me writing my first book, Two Steps to Receiving from God.
Mm,
Because it's a book of confession. It's a confession book for your life, for your family, for career, marriage, and all of that. But the first thing you have to do is, number one, you have to forgive yourself.
mm,
And that is what I did. First of all, I forgave myself for all the things I have done. I forgive myself for being very stupid. I forgive myself for being silly. All the things I called myself. I forgive myself for everything that I have said, everything that I have done. I forgive myself. And when I did that, then I forgave every person who I knew intentionally. Some people are, they didn't do it intentionally, but those who I knew, they deliberately wanted to harm me. Like you coming to my wedding to see that I was getting married, that for me was not a nice thing. So I
mm,
forgive a lot of people, including some of my family members, both extended and large, for the things they have said to me that they did not know that had an impact. Because
mm,
for me, I'll be like, after all, they said it, so let's leave it. And that's what I did, literally. So if you told me I
mm,
was crazy, oh, you're going to see another level of crazy on top of the crazy that I was already crazy. If you said I was this, I will manifest that to you, literally. So I did a lot of forgiving outside and inside. When I did that, then I went back to God.
mm.
I went back to God. I love God. He loves me, and so I love him back. That's the way I would say it, because he first loved me. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I started to accept the love of God. I was that person that would then look for all the scriptures of who I was in the Bible. I am. I am blessed. And that's why I love the ABCs, and that's where I got it from. So I'm that person that now I'm very bold in terms of speaking confession and affirmation, that I'll say I'm amazing, I'm bold, I'm courageous, I'm delightful, I'm elegant, I'm fearfully and wonderfully, I'm gorgeous, I'm hot. Because I learned it and I kept saying it over and over and over and over again. I'll look in the mirror and kept saying it to myself. Regardless of what people said to me, regardless of how I felt, I kept on saying it. So it doesn't matter what I was feeling. I knew my feeling was underrated. I could be happy today and sad tomorrow. So I did not let my feelings. And I think you need to know that in case you are one. Feelings, you are in control of your feeling because they will go up and down. Something can trigger you and be excited, and something can happen and you'll be sad. So feeling is not on the table. It's not for debate. I made a decision. Toks, this is who God says you are, and this is what you're going to live. And so I believed the word of God. I accepted the love of God. And then the next thing I did after that, all of these phases, I didn't tell anyone. It was a journey. It was a personal discovery journey for myself. So I didn't make any announcement like, oh, I'm going to change my life. What? No, I didn't do that. It was just, that's what I did. Some people have to be accountable and speak to people. I didn't need that. I'm a strong person in myself. All the things that I've done, I'm sure you can tell that I am. So I'm a determined person. I just like, you've got to the end of yourself, Toks. So now let's turn around and do things the way it's supposed to be and live life of meaning and life of impact. And I so wanted no one to live or go through the journey that I have been to. I was very intentional. Nobody should have to go through what I've gone. I'm sure there are a lot of more horror story, but I felt what I had gone through myself was bad enough in itself. And no girl, no woman, no human being should have to go through that to feel like I have to do this so that you can accept me and like me. I have to wear this lipstick. I have to dress in a short skirt. I have to not wear. No, I just felt no one should have to do that. So after I did all of that, then the next thing I did was listening. I listened to a lot of motivational messages, a lot of motivational videos, podcasts, anything that would lift up my spirit and tell me I can. I was listening to Yes I Can message. Anything,
Empowering
wherever
you.
you are. Yes, I was not choosy. I would just go YouTube and look for something that would says I can or possibility and all of that. And so I was just listening to all kinds. I was not selective because I didn't know anyone. So I was just going there to find inspiration. And that's where I found 𝗵𝗏𝗿, and my life has not changed. How would I say? My life has not remained the same since I met her. I can call her friend. She's not a stranger to me. Because of that journey, she was a major influence in my life, because her own story as well is one of transformation, how her life changed, you understand, all of a sudden, and she's doing all these things she's doing. And so that's what I would say. So I started speaking the word. I started listening to messages, and the more I did that, the more I believed. My faith grew. I believed in myself more, and I started saying, "Okay, now, Toks, what do you want to do?" Then I would just get an idea, and I'm one of those people that I get ideas. I have a book I call the Book of Possibilities. I literally written a lot of things that my husband will look at me. Do you want to do that again? I'll be like, do you want to? In fact, let's don't go there. Every time I keep that, I want to. I'll be like, only you leave it. You've not finished that one you are doing. But this one too came. So I just write down now. So I just have my book and I just write down. I'm telling you, this week, if you know how many businesses I have spoken to people, 3. I've done 3 businesses this week. God is my witness. I will not lie to you. I literally called this person. I said, my body is biting me. I cannot sleep. Please, I want to do this business. Please help me go on. Let's see, how can we do it? So I'm saying this to say this, that once you find your place, you find your position, and you find your purpose, your life would be so meaningful. And that is one of my programs, Find Your Place, Position, and Purpose. And that was God teaching me about me, knowing that I have a place, knowing that I have a position, and that there is purpose for me to attain. So Find Your Place, Position, and Purpose. And my signature program, I love that program, because it will definitely take you from wherever you are right now to where you are meant to be if you're struggling. So that's the summary, sis. So I began to follow people, mentor. I got a coach. Till now, I still have mentors and coaches that are following me, because I need to be accountable. And every time I feel like I'm the local champion where I jump ship. Because I'm like, I've not reached anywhere. How would I jump ship? So I keep jumping ship. So if I feel that everyone is always like, Toks, and it's time to leave, they should not call my name again. Let's move to the next boat. So I keep jumping ship. And I'm open to volunteering. I serve. Yes, and I keep serving. So anytime I see someone that I admire and I love, the latest person I did was Lola Tomorrow. I've been following her for a long time. When I heard she was
When
in
I saw
London,
that, I was like,
ran.
what?
I
I was
ran. I'm
like,
like, I'm going there. Yeah. So I keep serving. So anytime I see people that are women of God doing well in their space, that are people that I've been looking up to, because I have people, you know how you have people that you follow and you like what they're doing. I'm like, anytime they're in town, I'm going to gum. And that's why I am gum body, and I know how to gum body. Seriously. So
That's
so that's my story,
fantastic.
sis. That is my story.
That's
And in the words
fantastic.
of Les Brown, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. And it's inspiring, and it's just aligns sweetly into what I represent, which is just to share these inspiring stories, to see that, see, there is no there is no, oh, this is how I am, especially if you're on the wrong side of the divide. There, you
yes.
can always turn back, you can always
Yes.
transform yourself, you can
Yes.
always reinvent yourself, and you can
Yes.
be anything that you are already created to be, if you would just accept it. Because I know all of these things that you do now, you already had the capacity to do them, but it just so happened that life took you on this journey that you had to take. Wow. Thank you so much, Coach Toks, for this amazing, amazing share, for letting us into your life so brilliantly. God bless you. Guys, I hope that you've been blessed by this session, because I have been, like I said earlier on, I don't know if I'm selfish about this, but permit me to be selfish that this particular episode was for me. It was liberating for me. There were a lot of things that I could relate with in her story. And I hope that this has been that for somebody listening to this, that you can relate, somebody listening or somebody watching, that you can relate with this story, and that you have picked something that you are going to run with to transform your life, to change your story, and to be the person that God has already created you to be. This is the Energetic EJ. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to this YouTube channel or to my audio platform to listen to the audio on your favorite podcast channel. All right, like come your way again next week. Of course, I'm going to leave all the links to Coach Toks handles, so that you're able to connect with her. You're able to connect with her. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that again. Support the work that I do here by donating on Patreon, or becoming a Patreon, or buying me a cup of coffee. I know you can do that. It's just $5. I know you can do that. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you next week. Bye bye.